Welcome back to the Homesteaders channel. My name is Becky and I homestead in Central Florida. In today's video, I'm just showing you the easiest way on how I preserve things when I don't have any time. Now you can preserve food in so many different ways. There's so many videos on different ways to preserve. These days, everybody's just busy and we just keep getting busier, especially homesteaders who add more to their plate because we like to grow our own food and that takes more work, and then preserving it. Because if not, then all our hard work just goes to waste. There's just so many different ways on how to do things, regardless. So when it comes to preserving food, I just stick with the most easiest and the most affordable way that I know how to do now. Now, when it comes to vegetables or fruits, it doesn't matter. I use this method all the time and it's my go-to. So let's go into the kitchen and I'll show you what I do with my garden harvest, or even when I go to a U-pick farm and I get abundance of anything, I also do this as well. That has been my life lately as I am moving in my homestead, so I'm going to farms and getting all their amazing food and then having to save it. So let's go ahead and I'll show you what I do. Now I had a lot of Everglade tomatoes, which grow very well here in Central Florida. And so what I do is I had a lot of stainless steel bowls just like this with tons of these tomatoes in my refrigerator sitting there just waiting for me to do this, just because, again, I'm so busy like everybody else in the world. And so in order for me to actually get it done, I go ahead and I just, obviously some of them are not good, but I just go ahead and I pick the ones that are at least intact and put them in another bowl, making sure that the green tops are off. Now when I pick the whole thing when it comes to the little cherry tomatoes, just like this. So it's easier for me. I don't pick one by one. I just need to do it quickly just because there's so much of it. Examples like this. So I'll pick it just like this off the branch, and then when I'm ready to preserve it like now, I just go ahead and I just pick one by one. And it helps me do things a little bit faster. So it helps me do this a little bit quicker. And I go ahead and I keep doing this process until I get a good amount or know that I've got all the viable ones into my clean bowl. So I'll just do that. That takes a little bit. And after I'm done with that, I soak them in water. I mean, you can use, some people put baking soda, some people put vinegar, but I just soak them in water. Now I'll just let them sit here for a minute or two and I just go through them and just take whatever I see debris from the tomatoes. They're already looking great, nice and clean. And I mean, I grew these, so that's why I'm not very, not putting any product in the water when it comes to washing them. I know how I grew these. That's the best thing when it comes to growing your own food, because you know how they were treated, you know how they were grown. So I don't really spend too much when it comes to washing. So when it comes to washing my produce that I grew myself, I just keep it very simple. Now when the time has passed, I go ahead and I get a blender and I drain all the water out and I do a quick rinse. There you go. And they look beautiful and clean to me. So I get a sheet pan and one of these silicone mats, and I get my tomatoes and I just pour them all here. Now you can wait till they dry a little bit, but I mean sometimes I don't, and I just spread them out. I make sure that everything is one layered Now if there's 2 layers, I will wait, I just want it to be 2 layers, so I don't want any other tomatoes on top of each other. Now if I had a lot, then I will just put it back in my bowl, put this back in the refrigerator, and then just wait the next day and do the next batch. But these look like they're 1 layer tomatoes. Again, I don't wait till they dry completely. I just put that all in a pan. Then I go ahead and I put this whole thing in my deep freezer. Just like this. So I just took them out of the freezer. And as you can hear, they sound like little marbles. They're completely frozen. And they're pretty easy. Ice to take apart. Just use this kind of help me wrangle them. You will see some ice, but that's okay. There we go. So ice comes out really easily. And then I can just fill my bags and date. It's really easy. And this can stay in the freezer as long as you want until you're ready to have time to do this. And then they'll just freeze again, just like this. Then they'll be individual, so they won't stick together. Freezing is my go-to. I do that for everything, even avocados. So avocados, you would never have to waste your avocados. Again, they go by so quickly. And I just cut them up, slice them, and put it in a freezer bag. And they look so fresh in the freezer. So I do that for everything. Even my scraps when I'm juicing, these are the pulp for juicing. I freeze that as well. And so that is definitely my go-to, is doing this exactly to preserve quickly. Now, I just showed you vegetables, which was the tomatoes, and I'm about to show you how I preserve my fruit. Now, all these bags are peaches. I went to a local farmer, and he had a U-pick going on, so I grabbed my little one, and we went peach picking. We got a good amount of peaches. Some of them still have the leaves on them, so I just have to take them off and make sure I have a good amount of space to start cleaning them. So cleared out my sink, and I got all my peaches and placed them in stainless steel bowls. Now these bowls I use for everything, baking, cooking, and I've had them for a while, these stainless steel bowls. So I'm using them to clean up my peaches. So some of them are big, some of them are small. I just kind of, as you see, run the cold water through each one, scrubbing them. You could have a little brush. I think some people have these fruit brush scrubbers, but it's not necessary. You just need your hands. I just go ahead and at least cover all of them with water, as you see, and then I put some vinegar. There's nothing really specific when it comes to measurement. I just put a little bit of vinegar in the bowl, and I go ahead and I mix around the peaches to clean them up. As you see, the water is already dirty. Look at that. Now this was not an organic farm, so I know that it's a possibility there was some spraying, but regardless, it's still local and I'm still supporting a farmer, so I wasn't so picky on that because I knew I was going to clean them. So as long as you clean your fruit and vegetables, you should be good. Here I have 4 bowls. I'm glad my sink is huge. My stainless steel sink is just so awesome, and it can hold a lot of stuff. So here you can see all the peaches just sitting there. They don't have to sit for very long, maybe 10 minutes. If you forget about it, 20 minutes, it's okay. Just as long as you see all that water is all, gathering all the dirt and residue from the peaches, and I just give them a quick rinse after. So after they've been sitting in the water with the vinegar mixture, I go ahead and I rinse them and I spill the water out. As you can see, the color of the peaches are just so much better, so much cleaner. And after that, I go ahead and I pick some of them out and I put them on a sheet pan just to separate them. Now I'm not going to cut up all of them. In this case, I'm showing you how I freeze them whole. So when you freeze peaches whole, you don't have to do anything specific. It's really simple. I just get a muffin pan, as you see, and I place them individually just so they won't stick. And I place them in my deep freezer. And these peaches will freeze whole, and I'll put them in a bag when they're done. Now you can definitely boil peaches and then take off the skin after you place them in some cold water. Or I just keep the skin on and I just cut them in slices like this. This is from a local farm. We went peach picking. So I'll go ahead and finish cutting all of these. Now when it comes to fruits, I mean, these have been in my refrigerator for a little bit. So if there's a bad one or there's spots, like brown spots, I'll just cut off here. I'll just cut off that brown spot and then keep going. I don't waste anything. I just kind of keep cutting and then tossing all the scraps down here. So it's kind of like so it kind of works and makes myself go quickly, and I just keep on cutting them into little pieces. So I do this with all types of fruit. It doesn't have to be peaches. It can be strawberries, it can be bananas, anything. Just cut and chop off the whatever bruised parts. Put the trash right there just to dip in quickly, and you just keep it moving. Just like the tomatoes, after I chop off all my peaches or fruit, I place them on a baking sheet with a barrier on the bottom. I place this in the freezer. I place this in the freezer just like this, and as soon as they freeze, they'll freeze individually. They'll stick together a little bit, but they're just easy to separate. And then after they're all frozen individually, then I'll pop it in a bag, date it, and place it in the deep freezer again. Same thing with the peaches. They're frozen. And I'll put them in the bag, date them, and place them in the freezer. These peaches here, I did skin them first, and then I froze them right in the bag. So this is not doing this method, which is individually freezing. And you'll see how they stick together. I mean, you can obviously break them apart, but this is another way you can do it. If you don't really have time to even do that, you can just go ahead and put them in a bag and freeze them that way. And then obviously the whole peach as well. Now I know it seems very simple, but it is, and it's really quick. I mean, not many people have time to go ahead and can and do whatever they do when it comes to preserving the harvest or anything that you get in bulk. Freezing is the most easiest way you can preserve your food, and it can last for a very long time. I really recommend you getting a deep freezer like I do. It freezes anything so quick compared to a regular refrigerator freezer, and it just can hold so much more food when it comes to freezing it. So hopefully this gives you some idea, and I hope I was able to inspire you to go ahead and not waste your food. Go ahead and freeze it when it comes to anything, like you saw me, tomatoes, avocados, peaches, anything. Freeze it individually and then put it in a bag, and you can have it for a very long time, and then you'll just have abundance of food, and it's not going into the trash waste. It's such an easy thing to do, and I feel like more people should be doing it. So I hope you do it, and I hope you inspire others as well. And if you feel like this has given you any value, please like and subscribe and share this with your friends. It just helps spread the word when it comes to preserving food, and obviously growing your own food is one of the best things you can do for yourself. and I feel like everybody should be doing it, homesteader or not. So thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Stay well, friends.